what causes, people to even get into that area and get in trouble. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about is the food habits and the things that people do. And they might not even know it, but let's start with the right things to do. What is it? What's the right things to do here as far as what we should be eating and what we should not be eating?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a really a great place to start, QT, because nutrition is 80% of the journey. And so if your goal is to lose weight and get healthy and you really want to change the way your body looks, the way your body performs, the way you feel every day, your quality of life, it all really starts with the food. And that, for most people, is the hardest part. So getting your nutrition to about 80% clean per week is what your goal needs to be. So what is eating clean? So eating clean is actually eating foods in their most normal, their purest form, the way that God intended for us to eat. So it's not eating things that are processed. It's not adding a lot of gravies, sauces, creams, seasonings in terms of sodium type-based seasonings to our foods. It's not frying food. So clean eating is the goal, and that is 80% of the week. That will help you not only change your body, but it'll help you change your lifestyle. It'll also help you change your palate. That means changing what your body and what your mind is craving. So you know how some days, you just wake up, you just have a craving for donuts or that coffee or the stuff that your body has become addicted to.
Right.
That is really a true thing. Like, so Americans are addicted to sugar and carbs. It's like a crazy thing that is happening because, Americans, we are the fattest society in the entire world. So if you think about that, it's because everything is so fast now. The food that we eat, everybody's so busy. We just have to pick out something that's quick, and so
right.
we run through the drive-through. We grab something in the bag, some sort of snacks, or we never really take the time to slow down and prepare our meals in advance, so we're not just reaching for the unhealthy things. So in a nutshell, what I recommend and what has worked for me and my clients is a diet that's based in lean protein. And so proteins that I recommend are chicken, turkey, fish. You want to definitely stay away from tilapia, which is no longer, it's basically a GMO at this point.
Yes, man, do you know I've battled with people. They're like, man, I'm eating that fish. And they say eating tilapia. I'm like, tilapia is a man-made fish here.
Yeah, you can't even find it live in any stream, river, or lake anymore. So they're created in hatcheries and in fisheries where they kind of, put all of these toxins, these hormones, these growth hormones that make the fish grow super fast, and they just breed them that way. So we're eating all of the toxins that they put in that particular fish. So you want to avoid tilapia at all costs, but stick more to your, halibut, and things like salmon, and you want to make sure the salmon is wild caught,
right,
not farm raised, because you'll have the same issue.
It's the same issue, right?
A lot of people, a lot of African Americans, actually, we just love tilapia. And if you notice, tilapia is on every menu, from the little wing shop. Mm-hmm. Like, you can find tilapia anywhere. That's why it's so cheap. So you want to make sure that the foods that you're eating are of quality. So we got to stop eating like just the cheap wings meal, or grabbing something that we know has not been prepared or sourced from a quality place. So, think about places like if you do have to eat out, think about places who take greater responsibility in where they get their meats. And
right.
So that's like Chipotle, Ted's Montana Grill, for example. And then some of the higher end restaurants are going to make sure that they do have the wild-caught salmon. They're going to make sure they farm with local farmers to make sure that the vegetables that they're using are pesticide-free and that they've been raised organically. So kind of do some research and figure out, if I have to eat out, then here's a list of places where I can actually eat and stay healthy from the inside out. Because you don't want to eat toxins. The goal for food is to heal your body. So if you're putting food in that's not clean and it's not sourced responsibly, then you're just ingesting all of those hormones and toxins, and that's where the disease process starts, in my opinion. So that's what I've learned over the years, is just what you eat creates the body that you have. You see what I mean? And,
right.
and your health status.
Right.
So that's a really, it costs more, so I'm not even saying that to get organic chicken, is a lot more expensive than just buying the chicken thighs or the legs or the wings. That stuff is going to be much cheaper, but you got to think about your value and what your goal is and how much you're worth. So you wouldn't buy the cheap shoes from Walmart that are going to break in 2 weeks. You would pay a little bit more and get something, you pay more for shoes. But with food, people just don't really put the value, and they don't really invest in the things that go into our bodies. It's amazing,
Ooh, you dropping
about what people.
You dropping bombs on You dropping bombs on here. This is people don't know. It's just education.
They don't know. Yeah, and I don't think that we think about it. So that's my job, is to kind of plant seeds so that seeds of knowledge, so that the thought process changes. So you have to kind of engage people and say, hey, have you ever thought about this? Or did you know that the foods that you're eating are creating an inflammatory process in your body, the more unhealthy stuff that you put in? And so, maybe they don't know, but when you know better, you should do better. And so that's the goal for me with the book and my message, and what what my purpose is just to kind of enlighten people that it's not like a hard process. Just put some thought, just like you would pick a hairstylist. You might go to 3 or 4 different ones and be like asking them questions. How you going to do my hair? How much do you charge? And can you make it this way? Here's some pictures. Like, we do research for that. Like, even at the barber.
Right. We're
like particular. Then we'll pay, So, but when it comes to food, we just go and we pick the cheapest things, or the things that we know that we like, that will give us that satisfaction. We know, like Papado, we know it's not healthy, but that's just the thing that we do. We drink, we do this whole thing. And then we're sitting around afterwards like, what have I done? Or I got to get myself in shape. By that time, you've already gained another 20 pounds. And so if we put that same energy into what we spend, like how we spend our money, then I think if we are more particular about our bodies and our minds and the things that we ingest, even mentally. And so the things that you are thinking and the things that you're living and how you're eating, they create the person that you're becoming. So we just have to kind of be more awake and more knowledgeable on things like that.
I mean, people are hearing you, but people are mad. It's like you are making them mad right now.
Because it's a hard thing, because this is harder than all that other stuff. Like, it's harder to make a decision about food. Like, people don't realize that food is a drug. And we use drug, like, it was my drug of choice for 8 to 10 years. So food was the thing that I went to. You couldn't tell me. If I was telling me this back then, I would be looking at me side eyes too, sideways. So it's kind of like, if you're not ready to receive it, they won't receive it. So I'm just planting seeds. 90% of the people that I talk to, they don't get it the first day, but they come back, hey, last year I met you at so-and-so, and you changed my life. I wasn't ready then. I was mad at you. I couldn't stand you because you were right, but I didn't want to admit it. So that's the thing. So we're planting seeds. That means they don't get it initially. Now, some people are ready. Like, it took me 8 years to get ready, though. So I don't expect people to really just receive it, because they're like, nobody has time to really think about all that. If I'm just hungry. I don't have time. I'm busy. I'm tired, and I just need to grab something at McDonald's, or this coffee keeps me awake, or this sweet tea, it's $1. I'm not going to pay $3 for a bottle of water. That's just where people are. So that's the reality. But what we have to do, if you want better, you're going to have to do the hard stuff. And our society is about quick. It's about fast. It's about easy. It's about buy the boobs, buy the butt, don't work for the butt. This is the society that we live in. So my goal is to just kind of, it's kind of show people a different alternative, and then when they're ready, just, they'll embrace it, and they'll grow into understanding that in order to lower your blood pressure, in order to become, you don't need diabetes medication, you want to, regulate your metabolism, it's going to be with the food. You can't fix those things unless you change your diet. Okay, and then we talk about, after that, then we talk about the exercise. And then we talk about removing toxic people from your life. And so, see, it's more to it than just the food. The food is always just the hardest part, because it's an addictive thing. It's in our minds. It's what we are accustomed to. It's genetic, like it's in our families. It's communities. We're around people who cook a certain way. Soul food, it's killing people, but it's what we like. Ribs. You're not going to do a barbecue and not put ribs and a whole pig out. I mean, who's going to make grilled chicken and veggie skewers? Like, I don't walk into places assuming that, so that can be a healthy cookout. But, it's not going to be easy for people to accept. But once we get that part down, and I tell people it takes about 90 days to 4 months or so to really start making changes in your nutrition.
Oh, okay.
It does take a while.
Question. Yeah. Oh, it's so much to ingest. Question, because I have this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm working. I'm a work in progress as well. Now,
Okay.
In moderation, is that, do you cut it all the way out, or you say, okay, I can have a rib once this weekend?
Well, I look at a number of different things. So if you're working with me, and if I'm your personal trainer and then I'm your coach, what you would have to do is show me exactly what you're eating, and you got to be completely accountable. So I recommend that for everybody, is that you log your meals. So that's just as simple as writing down every single thing you eat. And then they would let me see it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a trainer, you look at that list. Now, if that list has more high-fat meats, more processed foods than it does positive, healthy foods that are going to change your body for the better, then that's how you know, hey, my percentages are off. There should be an 80-20, that's the range, 80% clean, and then you have a 20% buffer. So if there was a day that you and your family were going out to eat, and you wanted to have a slice of cheesecake, there's your 20%. But you can't just do you can't just eat unhealthy 4 days a week and then you're going to do good 2 days. You got to flip that around. But it's a gradual process. You're not going to just jump into the 80-20. Your goal is to gradually decrease the bad stuff, increase the good stuff. So that's kind of how you want to look at it. Don't look at it like you have to totally change everything overnight. Not everybody can do that. But I start people with I like to start people with a 7-day challenge. And that's where I pick certain foods that I want them to pull out just for 7 days, so that we can see, the cravings that their bodies will call for. Say if you always have Starbucks every day, you have a latte or whatever it is, and that kind of gives you that caffeine energy, your body's used to it. But it's like 400 or 500 calories. You got so much sugar in there. But we pull that out, and I want to see, how your body responds. So I would suggest picking one thing that you can pull out. So if you eat a lot of pork, let's take that out first. But you might still keep the beef in and the french fries for that week. But what we're doing is we're taking out one thing at a time, because it's such a gradual process. That's the best way to do it, Kiki, is to not just do everything. Like, I could come in and just be like, boom, this is what I want you to do. Now, if you order, I also do custom meal plans. So the meal plans are based on what you tell me you want to do and achieve, and what your current lifestyle is like. You say, hey, I'm busy, I'm always going, I don't have time to prepare. So then I would create a program for you, and so I do those meal plans, and those have been really, really successful for people who can stick to it. So that's the one where, if I'm going to tell you exactly what I want you to eat, you get 8 weeks worth of meals. If you eat that stuff, then you're going to lose weight. It's foods that you have to cook and prepare. You get a couple of days where you can eat out, but that's how you get healthy. So you have to get your mind right. So not everybody, especially in our culture, unfortunately, we're kind of the last. We're really far behind on the curve when it comes to understanding the benefit of a healthy body and a healthy mind. Like, we think that we got to drink, we got to turn up, we got to be making it rain every weekend. No, you got to create a different. You got to create a different lifestyle. But it's hard, especially in Atlanta. I don't know what it is, but when I went out to Cali, it's a different mindset there. Like, the people there just get the health component, and that's my goal with the people that I interact with, around the country, is basically just sharing this same message of health, prosperity, wellness, that you can create that, but it will be hard. It's because food, we're addicted to it. So, like, fatty foods, sugar, carbs, bread, pasta, Mexican, we got to have Mexican, we got to have our Chinese food, we got to have our Italian. You got to take all of that out. And so the ultimate goal is for you to understand that food needs to be prepared in a certain way in order for it to be healthy for your body. Because otherwise you won't lose weight. Otherwise you'll always be on diabetes medication. Otherwise you'll be more likely to have things like high blood pressure, diabetes, and then cancers. Certain cancers are related to obesity.
Right.
Especially belly fat. So if you carry a lot of weight in your belly, it's a problem.
Pause the belly fat Right. We're
Okay.
gonna jump into that one. All right. One of my partners who's been on my show a couple times in the beginning. He ain't been on here lately, but all of a sudden he pops up today when you come on here.